Good morning, students. Welcome back again with our topic geotech engineering. Today's topic is properties of soil mechanics, or we can say properties of soil. Basically, there are three types of properties of soil, in which the first one is physical properties, the second one is hydraulic properties, and the third one is mechanical properties. So we will discuss today one by one each of them, in which the first type of property is physical properties. Basically, physical properties are the properties which we can identify by physically. So the first property here we have make a tabulation of physical properties, in which we will discuss the name of property, method of determination, in which we have categorized them according to their experiments, that is laboratory experiment and field experiment, and the code used for that determining that experiment. So the first property is water content. As we all know, the soil have some amount of water in it or moisture in it. So the first property on which we identify the soil or categorize the soil is water content. Water content can be determined by weight of water upon weight of solids. So this is the formula by which we can calculate the water content of the soil. Basically, there are two types of methods for determining the water content of the soil, in which it is categorized into two parts, that is lab and field. If we discuss in laboratory experiment, there are two types of experiments. First is oven drying method, the second is pycnometer method. Both the methods are used for knowing the water content of the soil, uh, in which we can calculate the water content by that formula. As we can see, field tests are also there for physical properties of water content of soil, uh, specifically water content, and the field tests are sand bath, alcohol, calcium carbide. So these three experiments have been carried out for determination of water content of soil. And the codes used for this experiment is IS 2720. Basically, this code is used for the determination of physical properties of soil, or we can say we can use this code for identifying or the physical properties. The second physical property of soil is specific gravity, which can be known by unit weight of soil solid upon unit weight of water. That is the formula for specific gravity. And the methods used for knowing the specific gravity are pycnometer and density bottle. These two methods have been used for knowing the physical property, that is specific gravity of the soil. Here also the IS 2720 is used for determining that property. The third physical property of soil is particle size distribution. Uh, in that, there is two types of methods for determining the particle size distribution of soil. First is sieve analysis, the second is sedimentation analysis. The sieve analysis is also categorized into two parts, that is coarse sieve and fine sieve. And the sedimentation is also divided into two parts, that is pipette method and hydrometer method. So all these experiments have been used for determining the particle size distribution. The next physical property is bulk density, which is known by mass of soil upon volume of soil. And the there is also two types of methods for determination of bulk density of soil, that is lab and field. In lab, there is water displacement, rubber balloon, and submerged mud density. These three are the laboratory experiments which are performed to know the bulk density of soil. The field tests are sand replacement and core cutter method. These two methods have been used for knowing the bulk density of soil at the field. Now, the next physical property is dry density, which is equal to dry mass of soiled soil upon total volume of soil. Uh, this physical property can be determined by relationship of bulk density and water content. So basically, that is there is a, that formula is based upon the relation between bulk density and water content. If we know the bulk density and water content, then we can calculate the dry density of the soil. The next physical property is void ratio, which will is equal to volume of voids upon volume of solid. It is also can be determined by the relationship of dry density. The next is a liquid limit. Liquid limit is we can say the property in which soil is in liquid but having a small shearing strength. Uh, Means the if the soil having something, we can say liquid in it, but the shearing strength is small, then that is known as liquid limit. Liquid limit can be determined by Casagrande and static cone penetration methods. These two methods have been used for knowing the liquid limit of the soil. The next physical property is plastic limit, which is soil starts crumble at a dia of 3 mm, which means if we crumble the soil into a wire, then that is no if it is if we mold it into a wire and it just crumbles, then that is known as plastic limit. And the method of determination of plastic limit of the soil is thread method. The next property is shrinkage limit, which is equal to decrease in water not led to volume change. That is, shrinkage can be known, or the determination of shrinkage limit is by shrinkage limit apparatus. Now, uh, after physical property, there are hydraulic properties of soil. The first property of hydraulic property of soil is permeability, which is equal to permits the passage of fluid. So, permeability can be determined by uh, uh, three methods in laboratory and two methods in field. In laboratory, constant head, falling head, and consolidation methods have been used for determining permeability, and in field, pumping in and pumping out methods have been used for knowing the permeability of the soil. The next hydraulic property of soil is specific yield, which is equal to volume of water drained by gravity upon total volume. That specific yield can be known, or can be determined by the grain size method. Same Similarly, specific retention is equal to volume of water retained by gravity upon total volume. That is also known by the grain size method in hydraulic properties. Seepage pressure is equal to pressure exerted by the water on soil, and that is and that hydraulic property, or that property can be determined by the method known as flow net. The next type of properties are mechanical properties, in which the first property of soil is, or we can say the first mechanical property of the soil is shear strength. Shear strength can be known or determined by lab, that is by three methods: triaxial method, direct shear method, and UCS method. In If we say in field, then vane shear, SPT, and CPT methods have been used for knowing the mechanical property, that is shear strength of the soil. The next mechanical property of soil is settlement, which is equal to decrease in volume. That is known by, in lab we can say, by consolidation and compaction. And if we want to know in the field, then Proctor needle and plate load test have been carried out for knowing the settlement of the soil. Slope stability is another mechanical property of soil, which is equal to inclined soil structure. That property can be determined by a shear strength, shear stress, Swedish slip circle, or Taylor stability number. And the next one mechanical property is lateral earth pressure, which is equal to transverse pressure exerted by soil. It also can be determined by cohesion and angle of internal friction. Rabin and Kuhlmann and Rankine method have been used to determination of the lateral in the earth pressure of the soil. Now, the next mechanical property is safe allowable bearing capacity, which is equal to should fulfill bearing and settlement criteria. So, if we want to know if we want to determine the property, then in lab, if the foundation is shallow, then cohesion and angle of internal friction is used for determination of safe allowable bearing capacity. If the foundation we are using is pile, then dynamic formula and static formula have been used for knowing the safe allowable bearing capacity of the soil. If we want to know these are the laboratory tests, and if the field test we want to know, then in shallow plate load, SPT and SCPT methods have been used for shallow foundation for determining the safe allowable bearing capacity. And if the foundation is pile, then pile load cone penetration test have been carried out for knowing the safe allowable bearing capacity of the soil. Now, next mechanical property is stress distribution, which is equal to mobilization of stress under a footing, and it can be determined by soil type and buzzing method and Westergaard method for these properties of soil. So, that's all for today. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can comment in the section, and thank you.